Hello, this is Josh Bycer from GameWisdom.com. Hope you enjoy this video. Hello everybody! Welcome to another week of Game Wisdom Live here on the YouTube channel. Let me get things adjusted here. This is going to be for the week of December 15, 2016. Last week it was just myself, and unfortunately I realized that I am not that great of a guy to listen to for an hour just by myself talking. But fortunately James is back with us this week. So James, how are you doing?
I am doing better. I have completely fixed my systems, did some rewiring, got a new chassis, and upgraded my neuroptics. So
Nice.
any Warframe fans will get some of those references. But yeah, no, I was sick, and now I'm better. That's simple.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh boy, so this week has definitely been an interesting one for the YouTube channel. For those of you watching, at this moment we are currently at 994 subscribers.
Woohoo!
We are knocking on the door of 1,000 right now.
Yeah, that's a big thank you to you guys, definitely, for contributing to Game Wisdom and keeping things rolling.
I've been doing some temporary work during the afternoons, to help pay the bills, get some money flowing in the meantime. It's just going to be until the end of December, at least for right now. And still working on those presentations that should be starting in 2017. I'll be doing at some libraries. But other than that, for those of you who missed the announcement, of course, I have started doing regular streams and videos on the PlayStation 4. I have a video up on Resident Evil 7 at the moment, and Bloodborne plays are going up pretty regularly, or they will be starting soon, as Soul and Sanctuary should be finishing up probably in like the next day or two. Let's see. So, other than that for this week, I guess for you, James, since we missed you last week, are there any like interesting pieces of news or games you've played you'd like to talk about?
Well, I do have I got the Sun and Moon game for Pokemon, so I've been doing my playthrough through that, which has been rather enjoyable. I picked up Let It Die. I'm still on Smite and Warframe. Although Warframe actually just got some new updates for the console version. So all you console people, I'm sure you can definitely side with me on the fact that these the new updates and new story that has been added, new chapter to the story that has been added is rather good and really just really phenomenal work done by that team. So yeah, definitely that's kind of what's been going on with me. So.
And with Let It Die, we were talking about this before the stream.
Oh yes.
I'm definitely curious to hear what your thoughts will be on it, James, once you get further into it.
Yeah.
Because for those of you who know, I put up my review of it last week, and it's certainly been getting some buzz. A lot of people have been yelling at me about my review, saying that I didn't play the game right, I suck, get good, you're a noob, those kinds of questions or comments.
Okay, so normal internet chatter.
Yeah,
that's good.
Exactly. And with that, and I guess as a good springboard, this week, of course, I've been playing a whole lot of Bloodborne. And while there's only, I think right now 3 videos up on the YouTube channel, oh my goodness, I got quite a bit of a collection on my PS4 right now that will be going up pretty rapidly as time goes on. At this point, I think I'm actually close to finishing the game up.
Oh yeah, nice.
And I'm curious, it will be very interesting to talk about the difference between it and Dark Souls 3. I've been writing up I should say it's probably a big post at the moment, that I've been waiting until I finish the main game before I actually finish up my thoughts on it.
Yeah, definitely. As someone who hasn't played Dark Souls 3 yet, I actually definitely love to sit in hear the comparison that you have for the two. So.
And other than that, it's been another week of playing some very interesting and random games. I got this free-to-play jigsaw puzzle game on the computer. It's just a bunch of jigsaw puzzles I've been playing in my spare time.
Huh.
something to wind down with, like a 650 piece puzzle.
Yeah.
But the real game that I've been really trying to get into is Orcs Must Die Unchained. Which, for those of you who watch a Twitch stream, it's been up a few nights in a row, and I have an actual general spotlight video of it, probably going up, I would like to say either tomorrow, which would be Friday, or Saturday. And I was asking this to you, James, before the stream. Have you played any of the Orcs Must Die games yet?
No, no. Honestly, I actually haven't. I've seen them, like just videos and stuff, but no, I've never got a chance to actually play them.
The Orcs Must Die series, for those of you also who haven't played it, is sort of like a tower defense game mixed with an action. So you have your character moving around in third person, you place traps down as you're trying to deal with wave after wave of enemies. But your character is kind of like the hero unit on the field, who can attack and gets upgrades and stuff like that. And Orcs Must Die 3, or Orcs Must Die Unchained, is where they decided to go free to play. And the original form, which came out, I believe, in 2014, featured PvP, very monetized, and really had trouble drawing interest into the game. So they've been basically working on. There's not a name for this yet. When a game decides to just restructure its free-to-play options, but they're trying to essentially, I guess, do a redemption of the game and make it more friendly towards players. Remove the grind. There's no PvP in the game right now. It's still,
was there before? Or
yes, I think it was like 5v5, I want to say, or something like that. And with what it's in there now, it is simply single player and co-op play, but it features still the same free-to-play monetization options. So you have your in-game and premium currency. All progression is tied to loot boxes, which is very interesting. Yeah, I know that's the same noise I made.
Yeah.
And it's based on the post I made earlier this week about the luck and loss behind loot boxes. And how whenever you have progression tied to loot or randomization, it is very hard, almost impossible, to get that balance right.
Yeah. Well, now is it loot boxes that can be purchased, or is it loot boxes like that you can purchase with in-game currency and out-game currency, like both?
You can only purchase them with real money currency.
Oh wow!
Or when each map basically lets you win 5 loot boxes. You win one.
Okay, they put a limit on how many you can get.
Yeah. So, for instance, on the normal difficulty, you can earn at most 40 loot boxes. And then if you don't get what you're looking for, then you gotta spend the real money.
That's bad. That's isolating your fan base. That's going to destroy. I think it's going to destroy them. Like because you're limiting. You're literally punishing people for playing your game. And any game that calls itself free to play but punishes you for playing the game, I don't think you're going to last very long. Honestly, and like I said, free to play. How you do your free to play model can make or break a game.
And it's one of those very debatable topics, and it's one we could easily spend a few hours on. I have a friend who posts on Gama Sutra, who is basically a expert in monetization and free to play mechanics. And he writes like some really interesting posts about the design and the implementation of it. And from what he was telling me, or what he talked about, is that most people who are going to spend money on a free-to-play game will usually have to become invested in it for at least like around, I think, 18 days before they'll consider spending money. If you hit someone like right out of the gate saying, "Oh, you need to spend $3-4 here in order to proceed,"
turn off.
Exactly.
Turn off. Yep.
And it's one of those major elements of free-to-play design, or metrics-driven game design, where they try to figure out, how long they want to let you play for free, essentially. How long until, essentially, the free-to-play gloves come off, in a manner of speaking.
Yeah. For free-to-play gloves, I think that's such... I no offense to you, I just think that's... I think that's a lot of how they think
Mm-hmm.
of their games is by as that. But I think it's such a demoralizing term, especially to gamers. Which, not
Mm-hmm.
that gamers haven't done their own demoralizing things, but when a company does that, it's almost insulting our intelligence. Like,
Mm-hmm.
well, if you're not, you know what I mean? It you if you give people the love of a game, you
Mm-hmm.
make it correctly, people are gonna pay it. They're gonna pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to. You can't treat them like idiots, or they're not gonna give you any money. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Like, it's just bad.
Yeah. And it's one of the things that we see with, especially with the less than reputable free-to-play games, the
Yeah.
ones that just really hit you out of the gates, or you can really tell when a game is designed around monetization first, gameplay second
Hmm.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
I remember I've talked about this multiple times already, but like 2 years ago, I got hooked on the game Marvel Puzzle Quest, which was
Oh
a
yeah, yeah. I
free-to-play
played it.
game, and it also had some very insane monetization options. Again,
Uh-huh.
progression was based on loot boxes or spending real money kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that, again, it makes the progression model very uneven when you do it like that. You could
Hmm.
get very lucky and get that rare legendary character or weapon, whatever, or you could spend $50 and still just get nothing but commons.
Yeah. And randomization is good. It can be healthy in games.
Hmm.
But when you tie randomization to progression, I think it honestly, because it's not even like a direct slowing down of progression,
Hmm.
where like you're deliberately like, ah, that's how Warframe does it. The Warframe team does. They slow down your progression by just, okay, item that you the item that you wanted, you have to wait to make it. So
Hmm.
you just have to wait a couple of and slowing down progression is not a bad thing. I tell you the truth, it really, I think it teaches the player whether or not that player is going to be invested in the game.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It's because people aren't going to want to, if people if it, it's going to tell people right away, right from there, whether or not they're really going to be invested in the game. Like, if you're willing to wait that time to get something that you want, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And keep in mind, that's you're free. It's free. It's a free. It's like, hey, you don't have to spend any money, but you will have to spend time playing our game and helping to build
Hmm.
our community. So you're giving the player a way to pay for another way to pay for it. But when you tie randomization to progression and then force the player to buy that randomization,
Hmm.
like, come on, that's shady.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, people were already are still giving Blizzard a little bit of heat over the fact that Blizzard wants to make people, you have to basically almost pay for cosmetic skins, which I think, you, from a developer standpoint, you should pay for cosmetic skins. They worked hard. You know what I mean? But I've already dumped $60
Yeah.
into this new Blizzard game. Why am I paying
Hmm.
why am I giving you more money if I've already given you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. Yeah.
Hmm. And like with Team Fortress, the game is free to play now, so
Hmm.
that is looked at a lot more favorably on that front.
Yeah.
And what you were just saying a few minutes ago regarding time or money, that has been a major talk that Valve gave a few years ago regarding how you have to have some kind of value to your content.
Yeah.
There should either be a monetized or a monetary value or a time commitment
Yeah.
value. Like in
Yeah.
Team Fortress, you can unlock items simply by playing the game. I forget
Yep.
what the drop rate is, and it's the same goes for Payday 2. But
Yeah.
then there's the option if you want to spend money to get those items immediately, or get the items that you want specifically.
Yeah.
And again, it's presenting two ways. Like with something like Orcs Must Die, I checked, and no, you cannot use your in-game currency to buy the loot boxes. Only
Really?
premium currency will get you that.
Again, so they're punishing people for playing the game. They're punishing people who want to play the game, and they're just rewarding people who give them money,
Mm-hmm.
which you're gonna lose. You're not gonna get a fan base that way.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not gonna keep you alive. If there's no one to play your game, then you don't have a game, and then you don't
Mm-hmm.
have anything. Like,
Yeah.
And then when you start alienating people, oh, well, if you keep playing the game, we're going to make sure you can't progress anymore.
Hmm.
But if you pay us money, then yeah, you can get everything you want. No,
Yeah.
people are already hating on pay to play game. People are already calling some games that aren't even pay to play, pay to win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you if your game starts to smell of pay to win, you're losing people. You're
Uh,
gonna lose people.
and that's a really good point you just said there, James. About people still confused like what's pay to win, what isn't. I made a
Yeah.
post about this like years ago at this point. People still bring this up as when they're trying to pay what is and what isn't pay to win.
Yeah.
And again, as you just said, if progression is tied to money or real money and that's it, then it becomes an imbalanced system. At least with
Yep.
games like Hearthstone or Minion Masters, you can use in-game currency. Real
Yeah.
money just simply speeds up the process.
It speeds up the process, which is fine because then you
Hmm.
can take that also means that the guy who has $100 has a chance. I mean, and keep in mind, even with Hearthstone, it's still random. It's still random.
Hmm.
So, but it's random for both people. It doesn't feel like the deck is stacked. If the guy that pays $100, yeah, it might up his chances of getting that legendary. But the
Hmm.
guy who also progresses naturally has a
Hmm.
chance of getting, you know what I mean, has a
Hmm.
chance to work to get that legendary as well.
Yeah.
And that's going to keep people. If people feel like that they're working towards something, that's going to keep your audience.
Exactly. As long as they're making some kind of forward momentum,
Yep.
it will keep people playing for a very long time. I mean,
Yep.
World of Warcraft is probably one of the perfect case in point of that.
Mm-hmm.
As long as there's something for people to chase after, as long as there's some carrot on the stick that they can go for,
Yeah.
if they're hooked on the game, they're going to keep playing it. We talk about, of course, like we were talking about Payday 2 before the stream, and I mean, they keep adding new content. There's always new achievements, new stuff to try out in that,
Yeah.
and that works because I can
Yeah.
play that stuff and it just keeps adding more to the game.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Yep. A Warframe is like
mhm,
Warframe is very much like that as well. Warframe is very much a there's always something to do. There's
mhm,
always something new going on to Warframe, and also, and I've talked about this before, but when the dev team is in constant contact
mhm,
with its people, like that, you don't if someone you can have all the updates in the world, which is good, but if you're not if your updates are happening few and far between and no one's hearing from the dev team, you're going
mhm,
to lose people.
yeah,
But like when you have a dev team that's actually really motivated and like into its community, and they're constantly like, you can go on there. Same thing with one of my other favorite games, Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare 2. Like
mhm,
PopCap is on it. Every week there's a new tweet on social media about what's coming up, what they're going to change, answering questions, you know what I mean, asking what the fans want. Like, that is true involvement, and you're gonna get people for it.
mhm. And like, as a good point about that, they like No Man's Sky has definitely been a very interesting game to look at, and they just released their first major patch of the game after 3 months of dead silence.
Yeah.
Eh.
So here's the question being, is it too little too late? Because think about this.
Mhm,
How many people have already sold their copy of No Man's Sky
mhm,
because of all the stuff that they went through in the beginning? And I'm not saying that I don't think there's room for redemption. I think there's always room for redemption. But kind of hard to redeem something if there's nobody there to accept your redemption.
mhm,
So, you know what I mean? And I think that's going to be an issue
mhm.
with No Man's Sky, where it's like, hey guys, the game works now. We have stuff now. Too little, too late, buddy. No one owns your game no one owns your game anymore. You know what I mean? Now, and I think, and it's that needy, it's that relationship with somebody where they hurt you, and you just need some time. I need some time alone, and I think some time alone from No Man's Skies is going to do the world good. It worked for Final Fantasy 14, the online. You know what I mean? The Final Fantasy 14 online was horrible. It left a lot of scars and bad taste in people's mouths. But they came back, and they waited some time. They waited and waited and finally came back and were like, "Hey, we're new. We're different. We've changed." You know what I mean? And now Final Fantasy 14 is doing really, really well. So I think No Man's Skies needs to either, if it's willing to wait, I think it definitely needs to back off for a couple of seconds and let us gamers regain our composure before we accept it back into the fold again.
Hmm. Yep, and it's still like very interesting what they're going to do with that game.
Yeah.
Again, like they promise a whole lot, and from what people are saying, it's definitely getting better. But
Yeah.
as you just said, James, is it too little, too late?
Yeah. Yeah.
And like talking about like Final Fantasy 14, I know Ken, our mutual friend and Game Wisdom site designer, I think
Yeah.
he like made like a whole like a essay about how horrible that game was when it was first released.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Hmm. Now, with more on the subject of free to play,
Hmm.
getting back to like something like Orcs Must Die, like this is like one of those issues that we see with like free to play design, and like I was talking about this with a few friends about Let It Die, and whenever we play free to play games, we immediately start to think about what's the catch kind of thing. Like, is this game being designed for me, the consumer, or is it being designed to get my money?
Yeah.
And it's always a very heated topic because again, like with games that are free to play in nature, there is no barrier of entry. So you
Yeah.
kind of have to think about, okay, so where's the hook? What's going to stop me from doing this?
Yeah.
And like, I'll give you an example. In Orcs Must Die, the maps are designed in such a way that they heavily favored either having high level traps that you need to get, lucky in the loot boxes to get,
Yeah.
or you have to run things co-op wise. Like, this is one of the things that annoy me. I think I need to make a critical thought about this with the issue of properly scaling your game between single, two, three, four, five different players, that kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
the maps are not properly scaled. Like when you have 3 lanes in a tower defense,
Yeah.
and there's no way to corral units, from one lane to another, how the hell is one player supposed to manage 3 different lanes of units coming at the same time?
Yeah.
They're not. It's just not
No.
possible unless, of course, you have, high level enough traps that they're basically doing the job, for you.
For you. Yep.
But this is again one of those points. So either I have to get lucky with the loot boxes, spend money, or I have to hopefully get lucky and do things co-op wise. And
Yeah.
like that's like one of the things that annoy me about games that don't properly scale is that if you're going to have a single player option, like if your game is built around like one player, let it
Yeah.
be balanced around one player, not be balanced around 3 or 4.
Yes.
Now, of course, if your game is focusing on multiplayer, like if we know up front, like with Payday, Team Fortress, Left 4 Dead,
Hmm. Yeah.
that's a different story.
Although I like how Payday does it, where Payday really tries to squeeze your hand, going, get some friends, buddy, get some friends. But it does it. It doesn't do it like, it does it more like your mom trying to get you out of the house and meet people, as opposed to like somebody online going, "You're a fat, lazy, crappy person." You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like a lot of games kind of do that, where they're like, "Get friends, or you suck. Get friends, or you can't play this game." You know what I mean? And Payday 2 is more like, "Hey, this would be better with friends." And it would be better with friends because, and I think the way Payday does it is they give you really crappy AI. Well, not crappy AI, just AI that limited AI that can't do everything that a player can do. You know what I mean? So you can do, yeah, you can do a mission solo if you want to, but here's some crappy AI that kind of just kind of just are there. They're bullet sponges. That's what they are. Like
Yeah,
let's face it. Like Hoxton and stuff are they're they're bullet sponges,
yeah.
which is fine. You know what I mean? Which is fine. If you completely want to just I just want to be by myself and play a game of Payday, you can do that. But your game will only ever be enhanced by having multiplayer.
Hmm.
It's not necessary. It's enhanced, but not necessary.
Hmm. Yeah. And once you get to like the higher playing of Payday, that's when you really need to have people on. Like you are
Yeah.
not going to solo one down anytime soon. Any of those maps on
Yeah.
that level.
Hmm.
Now, one piece of news I was reading about that's very interesting is that they're talking about how Vivendi is possibly going to buy Ubisoft. They're trying to own more shares of the company.
Who is who?
Vivendi
Oh.
Universal.
Oh, okay.
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens along those lines. I mean, Ubisoft has been one of those companies that has definitely stuck in there. They've had some very
Yeah.
interesting games. Like, for instance, this year they had Rainbow Six Siege and Tom Clancy's The Division.
Yeah, yeah, and Tom Clancy's Division has kind of had a really interesting growth project themselves too, where
Hmm.
I think they definitely bit off more than they could chew at first, but they kind of built up, I think, fans that were kind of like, yeah, we didn't get everything we were promised at E3
Hmm.
5 years ago, but it's not bad, and they started adding more content, and I
Hmm.
think really they really I think that's kind of a prodigal son story right there with the division.
Yeah.
So
And that would be another case of a game that went through kind of like this redemption period of trying to win everyone back to
yeah,
the game. And it seems like with patch 1.4 that they've been doing it. Now, what as I talked about like a few weeks ago in my review, it still remains to be seen like what will be the division's end game. Like how are they going to keep this game going? Because much like in Payday 2, you're only as popular as your last content update.
very
If
very true.
if Payday 2 decides more that they're not doing content updates, that's
Oh,
pretty much it. The
they're
game's
done.
done. Yep.
Yeah, they're done. Yeah. Well, but also, now something, but keep in mind the division is also into that MMO territory
Hmm.
where, unlike Payday 2, well, I guess Payday 2 does this a little bit, but people are going to really looking forward towards expansions.
Hmm.
And I think the expansion model is really where the division is gonna head to.
Yeah.
It
Now,
almost has to if you think about it.
hmm
Like,
I
the content update is only gonna get you so far.
they
But
just released like another like quote unquote expansion to the game. I think a few weeks ago.
yeah,
Let me see if I can find quickly. The survival, the division survival, which adds like
uh,
another mode to it. Now, what's very interesting, I'm kind of curious what your thoughts on this, James, is that the Division, like a lot of more modern MMOs, is
yeah.
foregoing large leveling curves. Like when we talk about World of Warcraft, I think it's up to like what level 110 right now or something
Oh
along
god.
those
Oh
lines.
yeah. I stopped like at 85. So
Well, you beat me.
yeah.
I stopped at like
Uh,
45, so you win. but
yeah.
But like with DC Universe Online, I think their level cap is either 20 or 30. The Division is 20 or
Uh,
30.
okay. So when you're talking about level cap,
Hmm.
you have to, especially with MMOs and nowadays with what happens a lot of times MMOs will have and this is what DC Universe does.
Hmm.
They have a level cap as far as like
Experience.
experience wise.
Hmm.
So 30 is the highest you can get in DC Universe. But content is also backed by a
The gear rating
by
system.
by the gear rating system.
Yeah.
So you have to and I consider excuse me, sorry
Yeah.
about that. I still consider gear rating systems leveling because it really is.
Yeah.
Because you still have to grind. You're not getting experience points, but you're waiting for loot to drop, and that's what the divisions do. That's what the division does
Yeah.
too. The division, it's like, okay, I've gotten to the max level skill wise, so like my skills can't go anywhere.
But
But
my.
now it's time to start the grind. That's why a lot of times when when you're playing an MMO, and this happens in every MMO that people play, y max level isn't max level. Max level is the beginning of the start of max level.
Yeah.
It's literally like in martial arts, getting your black belt. Getting your black belt doesn't mean you're done with martial arts. If anything, it means that you're at the beginning. It means that you're now ready to learn all the super secret, cool, awesome special stuff. Which and in MMOs, that's honestly what they've been doing nowadays too, where it's no longer and bravo to World of Warcraft, who are still doing levels and people have kind of, I don't know, I've seen more and more MMOs drop from levels.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess here's my question then for you, James. What do you think about gear rating systems as opposed to leveling curves?
Gear rating systems as opposed to leveling curves?
Yeah.
I understand its necessity. I'm not saying I completely and totally am cool with it, but I do understand its necessity. And what it does is it adds grind. It allows you to bend your content towards the hardcore audience that's going to be staying with you. So again, like I said, I understand its necessity. I think I understand why I think the creators have done that. It's just, do I wish it could have been done a different way? Yeah. You know what I mean? It's, yeah, like I said, I understand why they did it. And I don't know. If there was another way you could do that, I'd be all for it.
Yeah.
But
that's kind of like an interesting point, though. Is there a better way? Because I understand I'm sort of iffy on gear rating systems myself. It goes back to, again, random progression. You could play the game for 5 hours, but if you don't find gear that's your next higher gear rating, you're kind of screwed. You can't progress anymore otherwise.
Yeah.
So you either have like rapid periods of progressing, every enemy's dropping 30 more points higher than my current gear rating, or then you're doing nothing. And it also means that you're kind of putting developers on task that they have to keep coming up with more and more gear ratings. They have to keep raising it up.
Yeah, but I feel like from a developer standpoint, that's easier than making new content that's fixed to levels. Which in a game that's going to be long and tedious, I don't blame. Again, like I said, I don't blame them for doing it. I understand why they're doing it. I just, again, like I said, I agree. I wish there was another way you could do things that would be more conducive to the experience. I think that could be conducive to the experience as a whole, which I don't know. Like I said, whatchamacallit, again, bravo to Blizzard for doing that, for keeping that with WoW. Although here's the interesting thing. They've kept it with WoW, but Diablo, they didn't keep that for Diablo. The Diablo doesn't have a never-ending level system.
No.
Diablo has like a gear rating. It has a gear rating system. You can't do Torment 10, on hell difficulty until you get the gear to do Torment 10 on hell difficulty. So
it is kind of interesting about that, and people have been complaining to Blizzard about Diablo 3 that there hasn't been any new actual content of the game in the last 3 or 4 seasons of their ladder. Now, of course, they announced the expansion, which Necromancer is my favorite class, so that's pretty much day one buy right there.
So you're excited about the Necromancer?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, I like Necromancer too. I was a huge fan of him in Diablo 2. So, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how they how if what people want versus what they feel like they have to give them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Have you had a chance to play Destiny at all yet, James?
no, I have not.
Mm.
And Destiny is actually a game that I honestly I probably won't ever. Not being honest, I probably won't ever play it. More on the fact that let's put it this way: I'll play it with if you play it. We can go through we can go through that together. And because honestly, I think Destiny was meant to really be that too.
Mm-hmm.
It's again like the Division, that MMO feel where you're supposed to, if you're by yourself, I don't think you're going to get as much as
Mm-hmm.
of an experience out of it as as if you're going through it
Mm-hmm.
with somebody else and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
like I said, and most of my friends, the friends that I knew that played Destiny don't play anymore, so they're not. So I don't. Again, it'd be like trying to jump into World of Warcraft right now, where you're like,
Mm.
oh, what am I doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'll play it if you play it. We can jump on and fumble around together while high levels just run around and laugh at us.
Yeah, and I'm not going to be able to get to it, I think, because it requires the PlayStation Live or PSN Plus or whatever the subscription is to use
Oh,
it.
really?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. No.
and I was also looking at that Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare, but apparently I can't even play it on the PlayStation without having the PSN subscription either. So I'm kind of
Uh,
stuck there.
oh, so you don't have PlayStation Plus?
No.
Yep. Sony did that for a couple of games. I know that they did that for a couple of games. Um, and I'll admit this, and I will say, I mean, as much as I want to be like fight the power, screw the man, and blah blah blah, the PlayStation Plus is worth getting. It really is. I'm not one for paying subscriptions, and trust me, I really am not. Even though we already talked about that, I used to have a WoW addiction, but that was a different time. I'm a
Yeah.
different person now. But it is worth it. The PlayStation Plus is worth it. It gives you free when you pay for it. You're getting something they don't tell you is you're getting discounts anytime they do sales and stuff. You're going to get automatic discounts for having PlayStation Plus,
Mm-hmm.
and we're talking like up to from anywhere from 20 to like 70% discounts,
Mm-hmm.
where you can get like a $20 game for like $5, which is pretty good. They also have a cloud system. They also have an automatic cloud system that saves, does backup saves just in case anything goes wrong and you lose stuff or you want to transfer things. Like
Mm-hmm.
you are for what every month they give you 2 free games, like and it saves in your library permanently. So you literally, I have a collection of games that I can play for free that I've gotten from PlayStation Plus because every month they give you a free game, and I now have a library. So PlayStation Plus pays for itself as the more you use it. It really is worth it.
What is the PlayStation Now? Like PS
What
Now? Is that the?
PS okay. PS Now is Sony's, if you want to play our retro games because we didn't make our stuff backwards compatible, pay us more money and you can pay
Mm,
you can pay some of the games that we've released. It's what Nintendo did. You know how Nintendo has their shop?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's basically what Nintendo did. Only instead of you paying for the game you want, which I don't get me wrong, there are some games that are out that are released from the Sony Vault that you can actually just get directly, download it directly, pay for it and download it directly. But PlayStation Vue gives you a whole plethora of PlayStation 2 games that they haven't released yet. So, and basically it's another subscription. You pay for it and you can have access to almost all the PS2 games you want. So.
Yeah, I was looking at that because I would love to do some more streams and recordings of like classic PlayStation games.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty cool, but they don't have like the ones I really want, like Toomba and Fatal Frame.
Hmm.
I know they're available
Check
on
this.
the PS3 store,
Check
but
the store. Check the Sony PS4 store.
mm,
Not the Vue, or not the Vue. Not the Vue. What's the other one we were just talking about?
PlayStation Store or
No, what the one where we
PlayStation
played?
Now?
Well, not places now, but just check the regular PlayStation Store. And I was surprised that they have there's random games for from the PS1 era and PS2 era that'll just randomly pop up in the store. So,
Hmm.
and they might. I think I remember seeing Fatal Frame. I just don't know if it's on the. I guess it might not be on the now PlayStation Now or whatnot. So I don't know honestly. So
Yeah. And I'm still trying to get used to the PS4. I also played Resident Evil 7, which I thought was very interesting.
oh cool yeah
It got me too. I don't know if you
yeah
watched the video, but it actually got me with a good jump scare.
oh yeah.
Yeah, so if you want to see me actually get jumpy in a game, definitely watch that video. Let me see. What is our time? I think we are
We're a
about.
little about 9 o'clock now. So
All right. I figure we'll go maybe another 5-10 minutes, and then we'll wrap up game with some live. I got probably some streaming to do later tonight.
sounds good.
Let me see if there's any other topics to bring up. Again, some we can cover, I guess, briefly, because you know us, we can easily spend 30-40 minutes on anything here.
Yeah. Have you heard anything new about the Nintendo Amiibos?
Mm,
I know there's some talk buzzing around about the. I guess there's coming out with a new Zelda or
mhm,
a new Link. Sorry, a new Link Amiibo
mhm,
and whatnot. And I don't know. I think they're still going with the like. I guess people are still buying them. Which I remember we had a cast before on that where
mhm.
we all talked about that. And
Yeah,
I guess people are buying them. So they're making them. So.
yeah. I'm just not sure if they're really going to be like long lasting, because it doesn't seem like we're seeing games make use of them.
Yeah. Well, but I think even beyond games making use of them, I think maybe they're just looking to because Nintendo did start off as a toy company. That's what it originally was. That's what well they were a card company and then they started manufacturing toys
Hmm.
before it went to video games. So and that might just be them kind of doing that. You know what I mean? Hey, we have them. We have the ability to make these items. And now I wouldn't put it past. I'm not saying Nintendo is one for making stuff that they're not going to make money off of. But I do think sometimes Nintendo does stuff for nostalgia purposes only,
Hmm.
and I wouldn't put it past that. And I think Amiibos is a kind of a combination of both, of nostalgia and hey, people are paying us money for this.
Hmm.
They're cheap and easy to make. Well, then here we'll take as much as we can get. We'll Disney. We'll beat this horse until until it runs out of money. So
Question from chat. XP want to know: does the PS4 have any like $1 games like we sometimes see on Steam, like the very cheap games?
$1, no, I don't think you're gonna find anything under five. I don't think you're going to find anything under five, and I think the reasoning behind that is one, if you have PlayStation Plus, which sad to say, if you have a PS4, you almost have to get PlayStation
Mm,
Plus to fully enjoy, you almost have to get it, and you own as the longer you own a PS4, the more you realize you almost have to get PlayStation Plus.
mm,
But and again, one of the benefits of having that is it does drop things down to around the $5 range, especially with a lot of the sales. It will have sales frequently, actually, pretty frequently. Usually, like every 2 weeks, there's usually a sale. Like a Square Enix will have a sale. Bethesda will have a sale where they're dropping games down, and um, uh, but I think anytime anything's below five and it's not with a discount, it's just gonna be free. They're not gonna. It's gonna be free to play. I think I don't know what their model is as far as like their like other develop bringing in like
mhm,
indie developers and stuff. But anything that I've seen that's been under $5 is free. It's free to play. It's a free to play,
mhm.
and then you're just kind of dealing with the free to play stuff. Which again, that's just per company that's making the game. So
All right.
yeah.
Let me see. Oh, one thing I was just thinking about with the amiibos is I was looking at the Lego Dimensions stuff
Yeah.
to see what's going on with that. It seems like they're still doing really well with it.
Well, I know Lego apparently Lego's going to be having a new Lego Batman movie.
Hmm.
coming up, which I only say that because I think that's going to definitely drive up more sales for them
Mm-hmm.
on those kind of products.
Yeah. And Skylanders, I think, is still going pretty strong, although I don't know what their numbers are at the moment.
Yeah, same here. I'd love to see the progression, the business model for Skylanders. They're just genius.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been trying to get a hold of them to talk, but it's just been hard to get them nailed down.
They don't want to share their secrets.
Yeah.
Although, are they're not specifically on PlayStation?
No, I think Skylanders are on all the consoles and PC.
Hmm. So here's the thing, and I'd wonder about this as far as properties go. Crash Bandicoot apparently is coming to Skylanders. Did you hear about that?
I think I heard something about that. I know they're also doing a remake of
Yeah,
Crash
and
Bandicoot.
they're remaking Crash Bandicoot. But yeah, I heard something that I guess Crash Bandicoot's coming to Skylanders, which is kind of interesting because a lot of these are. I mean, Skylanders was started off of Spyro was a Spyro
Mm-hmm.
game,
Yeah.
so it's kind of interesting to see some of these old Sony properties, kind of getting the reboot
Mm-hmm.
reboot love treatment.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we can get some 90 99 winks or a what was the there was like a gecko, and there was like do you remember that
Gex.
Gex, that's what it was,
Yeah.
Gex. Yeah, or who was the Dead Knight? There was the
Medieval.
medieval with the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maybe we can throw him back in the mix. I don't know if he would go to Skylanders or where he would. I thought he would fit that aesthetic, but it'd be kind of cool to see some of those old mascotty like characters from Sony and see where they fit into nowadays. So.
Yeah. And people have been talking about wanting to see more of the classic characters. XP and Chad just mentioned Bubsy. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Bubsy. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, And speaking about like classic characters, I know Ukulele is coming along. The game that's supposed to be the spiritual sequel to Banjo Kazooie.
Oh, really? No, that I haven't heard.
Mm-hmm. That game definitely looks interesting. I would still love to see someone try Banjo Kazooie's nuts and bolt gameplay again with like kind of like the vehicle design.
Oh yeah, yeah. I heard that game didn't do very well, but I
Yeah.
remember it looked
Yeah.
fun.
I
So
loved it, but it was one of those cases where people were going to expecting Banjo Kazooie. They weren't expecting a vehicle, construction game.
yeah, yeah, and that's also I think is always going to be a thing with redoing not remakes but just kind of
Repackaging, kind of.
repackaging old characters because they're trying to find something new with them, and if people are coming back expecting the classic and they get something new, I think that's where Sonic struggled for
Mm,
a long time, where it's like, oh man, I want to play Sonic, but how I remember Sonic,
yeah.
and they give you Sonic doing new stuff that you know.
Makes no
Yeah,
sense. Or
yeah. Oh, here, let's do, or that we didn't ask for. You know what I mean? It's like
Mhm.
we want Sonic back. Well, here he is doing this. Here's a 3D world environment where he turns into a werewolf. I, I just wanted to, you know,
or when
play
they
a
had
Sonic game.
Shadow the Hedgehog with using guns.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I just kind of wanted to spin dash and maybe go through a loop to loop. You know, fight Doctor Robotnik.
Hmm.
I don't know where all this other stuff is coming from. So
Let's
yeah,
see. Yeah, and I think we're going to probably see more of, or trying to get more of those characters repackaged as time goes on. I mean,
yeah.
Nintendo has certainly been doing it for a while now. I know people have been hungry for another Metroid game. The one for the
Yeah.
3DS that just came out wasn't really doing it.
Yeah. Didn't they like try to turn? I felt like they tried to. Didn't they try to turn like Metroid into like Halo or something like that?
Yeah, it was like a four-player co-op kind of thing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Weird.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything. What are some other really good classic games? I'd love to see another Star Tropics for anyone who remembers that game for the NES.
I don't think I've ever played Star Tropics.
I don't think a lot of people did. I think it was like one of like
Uh,
the first games by Gumpy Yoki, or the guy who created Metroid, or I forget his name. I forget like the correct pronunciation. Let me see. There's Battletoads. That's another oldie,
yeah, Battletoads. Yeah, remember that.
right? Let me see. We have definitely gone past the. Well, we're about to go past an hour. I
Yeah.
think probably like 50, 55 minutes. I think it's probably time to wrap things up. So I guess just to sum things up, once again, thank you to everyone who is. Voice just completely went out there. Thank you to everyone who is liking and subscribing and checking out the YouTube channel and Twitch stream. Again, we are really, really close to 1,000. And then I assume once we hit 1,000, fame and fortune comes, right? Is that how
Oh
it
yeah,
works?
yep, definitely. Yep, we can retire.
Mm-hmm. PewDiePie will deliver me a medal, a golden medal.
uh, Golden medal of YouTube.
Yeah. But seriously, once again, thank you so much. For you first timers, if you're enjoying things, be sure to subscribe. When we hit 1,000, we have a special little video planned. I still have to do more and more Let's Plays. For those of you watching this live, there will probably be a stream later tonight, either of a computer game or something on PlayStation. I was able to get a copy of the Darksiders game to try and take a look at. Or I could do more Orcs Must Die. I believe tomorrow's podcast. Again, I did so many podcasts in such a short span of time, I'm having trouble remembering who's next. I think this is the one that I did with Zach Barth from Zachtronics. So be sure to check back on the site tomorrow for that. As always, when we do these live shows, there won't be a critical thought that day, but I have plenty of topics to go over this week. So be sure to check out tomorrow's critical thought as well. But other than that, James, once again, thank you so much for coming on. It's great that you're feeling better. Hope you'll be at 100% next week.
Yeah, definitely. It's good. It's good to be back. So, and
Mm-hmm.
keep checking us out, guys. And thanks for getting us to where we are. We can't do anything without the help of our fans. So 990, what was it,
4.
subscribers? 94 subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
So hey guys, go out and find 6 people you know and tell them to subscribe. So
Yeah, I've ran out of friends and family to bug at this point. So go on out there, everyone. And one of these days, we should definitely try and do something PlayStation 4 wise.
oh yeah, definitely. Actually, I got to get your code,
Yeah.
your friend's thingy.
All right. Yeah. We'll talk about that. I think for a few minutes after we hang up from this.
Yeah.
So, other than that, like I said, thank you to everyone watching this live record. For you folks live on Twitch, I'll be back later tonight with something. I don't know what just yet. And for those of you who are watching this record, be sure to check back daily for more great content here and on GameWisdom.com. I'm going to wrap it up because my voice is about to disappear on me. So, have a great night, folks, and I'll catch you all again real soon. And James, feel free to say something as well.
Yeah, no. Have a good evening, guys, and thanks for subscribing to Game Wisdom.
All right. See you guys later, and have a great night. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoy it, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and of course share with your friends. It always helps out. For daily posts on all manner of game design and industry topics, check out game-wisdom.com. To support the site and everything that I do, be sure to check out the Patreon campaign. If we can hit goals, it will mean more content for everyone to enjoy, and I'll be able to support myself and my household. If you want to follow me, you can find me on Twitter at GW for updates throughout the day and random thoughts from me. And lastly, you can find me on Twitch right over there at GW for daily streams most nights around 10 Eastern. Thanks again for watching the video, and be sure to check out more great content coming to the Game Wisdom channel real soon.